So most people know that when your bananas are getting a little overripe, you're supposed to make banana bread or banana muffins with them, but some people are afraid of that baking task. I'm here to show you it's not that hard. So here's the team. You see that overripe banana, and 3 of his siblings are already in that measuring cup. Behind that, sour cream and baking soda. Behind that is the canola oil for greasing the pan. That big wine glass has chocolate-covered espresso beans. So good. A little bit of salt goes in this. With the green top, that's instant espresso. Really good in this recipe. Some butter, some eggs, brown sugar and white sugar. I use wheat flour in this. Makes it a little denser, a little chewier. And then cocoa powder, vanilla, cinnamon, and nutmeg. So we're going to do the dry ingredients first. 1.25 cups of wheat flour, 1/2 cup of white sugar, a couple of tablespoons of cocoa powder, and this is going to make our bread a little chocolatey. It's so good. So next up, we're going to go a teaspoon of baking soda, a little leavening agent, and then we're going to go a teaspoon of cinnamon after that. And you can vary these amounts if you want to. And then we're going to go with a 1/2 teaspoon of the nutmeg. Let's get the cinnamon in there first. And then it's going to be time to enter that instant espresso powder. And I've done this with espresso before and with espresso powder, or instant espresso, and I think the instant espresso integrates a little bit better, so we're going to go with about a tablespoon of that. Yeah, about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, just because you need that with the baking soda. And then those chocolate covered espresso beans, I'm going to hold on to and fold them in later, because I'm going to run this on the whisk setting on my mixer while I do the wet ingredients. So for the wet stuff, I'm going to go with a 1/4 cup of sour cream, and this just makes everything a little creamier and smoother, and I think it adds to the flavor. After that, we're going to do a 1/2 cup of melted butter, and I just melted that in the microwave. And then we're going to jump into the eggs. Oh, no, there's the brown sugar. Sorry, 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And then we're going to jump into the eggs. And I used 3 eggs here. If I were using white flour, I would have used a little bit more flour and only 2 eggs. And you can look up the differences between wheat and white flour in your recipes if you want to. But 3 eggs. And then we got about a teaspoon of vanilla going in here. And then it's time to get the banana mush in the wet team, and then I'm going to use the paddle attachment as opposed to the whisk on this stuff to get it nice and combined. So the dry stuff is all happily incorporated, so now I'm going to fold in those chocolate covered espresso beans. Oh, so very good. So now it's time to bring the wet into the dry, and I'm just going to pour it in there, and then I'm going to fold it together for a little bit. What we're looking for is all the dry stuff has become wet, and it's going to look like a cake batter at the end of it. So I love my muffin tin. It's the great honkin' big muffin size that you would get at a coffee shop, and I love those. So I'm going to use about a 1/2 cup measure to move this batter in here. I'm going to give it a good spray down first so nothing sticks, and then we're going to start moving the batter in here. You want to leave maybe 1/2 inch for it to grow a little bit, so you can get nice little muffin tops. And then we're ready to go. 350 degrees and about 30 minutes. This is what they look like when they come out. If it was white flour, they'd be a little poofier, but I actually think I like this more. Let them cool in that muffin tin for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then move them over to a wire rack to finish cooling. You can see Peanut Butter has made a cameo in the back. He's good at photobombs. He's actually looking to see if I drop anything. These are fantastic. I think you're really going to enjoy them. So my YouTube hero Babish does a cutaway of a lot of the things he makes, so I figured I'd do one of those too. So this is what the inside of one of these bad boys looks like. You can see all the little espresso beans in there. So banana bread, but it has coffee and it has chocolate. What could be better? I love one of these things for quick breakfast in the morning, or really any time of day. Goes great with a cup of coffee. Goes great with a glass of wine. Goes great on its own, or maybe a glass of milk.